It's not everyone that has that. You can know how to make a song, but you can't really explain how the song makes you feel. And I just have that gift, if you understand. Yeah, I didn't like what he did with the AKA tribute. I think that tribute was just.
Well, I haven't watched that one. I gotta go back and watch.
I listened to the thing, but I felt some type of way. I felt like it was not really necessary for him to do it, especially at that time. The song Company has an Amapiano version. It's like, and it was not based off it was probably not based off the fact that he's God, but based off the fact that the song is so good.
Hey, Puma hanging on my neck. The bracelet matches a set. My brother name is Tina Dollar. Stop all that back and forth over the net.
Welcome to another episode of Sounds Good Enough. Today I have a music reviewer, our very old South African Anthony Fantano. I had to get you with that one. Huh? His name is Postman. For the people who are watching, would like to know, who is Postman?
Yeah, man. Thank you, Musa, for the opportunity. Thank you for calling me. Actually, it was actually shocking, that a podcaster hit me up and they told me they love my work and they would like me to, come to the channel, because I look at myself as someone who's still upcoming in this space.
We all are, though.
And you dub me as Anthony Fantano, and that's actually one of the bros I look up to.
Yeah.
So shout out to you. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Postman and I don't have a podcast, actually. Yeah, I'm trying to fight that every single day, but it doesn't seem to work. So,
what are you fighting? Not having a podcast?
Classifying it as a podcast.
Okay.
So
everyone that watches it, they say you have a podcast.
Yeah, I think the only thing
shying away from.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's the problem, or that makes it look like a podcast, is the mic. If I were to remove the mic, it would probably be a review platform, which is what I like to classify Post in the Diary Room as.
Yeah.
So, a review platform.
But what is a podcast per se exactly? Like,
I think a podcast is what we are doing right now. That's a podcast.
So is it only because there's a mic? Because that's what you say.
I think in most cases, podcast can be monolithic, but it's better if there's two people talking, you understand? Unlike just, because what I do is just like me talking.
Just you and giving your thoughts on things.
And there's really not much conversation happening out there. It's like I'm bringing the conversation to the people, and not necessarily bringing the conversation, but they get to hear what I think about the music that I review or listen to. Yeah.
But anyways, like, how did you even figure out that, hey, I want to start reviewing more specifically South African music? Because I feel like you're the only one that maybe there's other people, but that I know you're the only like South African guy that is giving reviews on South African music, really, because everyone wants to talk about the Drakes, the Kanyes, and
Yeah, fair. I think when I started this thing, I started it back in November.
Yeah.
And if you actually scroll down the platform, you will see that my first video was just me talking about my Spotify Wrapped. And at some point I wanted to delete it. But then my people were like, nah, don't delete it. It was a great place to start. Because after that, I reviewed the Mash Beats album.
Yeah.
I think I gave it a 7. I think so. Yeah, but the quality at that time was not as great. Even the mic I was using was not as great. So I always had ambitions of starting something like that, because I can't rap, I can't produce, but I have an ear for music. So I think that was the best way for me to more or less have an impact on the culture, because I guess I love music too much, and I needed to have a say, because I always have a say. And my friends don't necessarily understand some of the things that I say or talk about that are related to music. So Post in the Diary Room has become that platform for me to just voice out my opinion and how I feel about the songs and if I like them or not. Because sometimes I get too deep into the music and it just confuses my friends. So now I get to express how I feel on the platform and have people resonate with what I say. So, yeah, I think it was just from a point of trying to impact the culture, because
Yeah.
I more or less did see a gap in the market, because, watching the likes of Fantano in the States, it's like he's actually renowned out there. He's
Yeah.
established himself
Yeah.
as that guy.
Yeah.
There's the Joe Bidens of the world, but he's not really into the reviewing side of it, but he's just podcasting now. But he does tap into the reviews.
Yeah.
But with the Fantano, it was like he's just about the reviews and the commentary. And when I looked at myself, I was like, nah, that's what I'm doing too. So let's just, turn this into a proper platform, because on Twitter, I am a commentator on Twitter, and I just needed to, expand what I do, because at some point I came up as a troll, and you more or less move away from that and become someone who's more reputable. And that's what Postman and Don Riz has done for me. So I think it was just from a place of loving music, and it's become that. And I just love the music even more now. And I'm just glad that people take my opinion seriously. And sometimes they just want to fight me. But it's like, my whole thing has always been, if I'm able to establish my own opinion, you probably have the same ability to do so. So, yeah.
But I think it's also an ability to be able to listen to music and put it down or put it into words, because a lot of people can listen to music and say like, oh no, it's good, it's bad, but they can't really say what's actually good about it, right? Like, so I think you have that ability. Hence I say Fantano, because I think he has, even though some of his takes are not as great.
I think with him as well, right? So to answer the first question, it was related to me being the only one in SA. I think perhaps I am, perhaps I'm not. I don't know. But
you are. I don't know anyone else.
I think the distinction would be that I am someone who reviews, then react.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people on YouTube in South Africa are reacting to the music, at least actively.
But even with the reacting, I don't think people react so much to SA music.
Yeah.
I think the person that we'll actually get to later on that started this whole reacting to SA music was Mansa Mayne, right?
Yeah.
It was like the only guy that actually made other people, even other Americans, to hop on that train. Because everyone was, like I said, they were reacting to the new J. Cole music video, new album. It was never South African music.
Yeah, I think it also goes back to what I said previously. It's about making an impact in the culture, because I think that we don't have a lot of people, talking about SA hip hop or SA R&B, because those are just the genres I tap into right now, because I don't think it's necessary for me to tap into the Amapiano space, because there's not much going on out there, except
you
for
don't
the
think
fact,
so?
Nah, I think I'm going to bore the people if people are not really looking for that, people.
You don't know though.
Nah, I don't think I'm gonna tap into the Amapiano space.
Do you listen to Amapiano?
I love Amapiano. It's my favorite.
That's even perfect.
So I just don't think people want to hear that. People just want to dance, and but in comparison to the likes of hip hop and R&B, it's like there you get to like sit back and relax and hear what the people are saying. But in Amapiano, it's more like it's more spiritual more than anything. So it's like I love it too much. It makes me feel some type of way. So I can't really tap into that, because if I don't like a song that you like and it's Amapiano and I say, yeah, this thing is whack because Gabza didn't probably master this properly.
That's good. Like I said, it goes back to what I'd say. Like people listen to music and they don't understand why they actually like it. And there's a lot of reasons, right? Because, for example, you could love a song because of a certain memory attached to it, right? Maybe it's not really a good song, but where you were or whatever was happening, that song was playing. And that's why you love that song. Like you have like emotional, but there are music that everyone likes, right? But we can't really put down on pen or say words to say like, this is why we all love the song, right? But why?
I think with me, it's like I just love music so much, and it's easier for me because most importantly, I love hip hop.
Yeah.
I love R&B. I love the Nas's of the world, the J. Cole's, the AKAs, the Caspers, So it was easier for me to just tap into that space because I grew up on those niggas, most importantly,
Yeah.
And it's different for someone who, grew up on the music, but they just, didn't really have that much of an affinity to it. Unlike me, who really wanted to be a part of the culture at some point, and I still do, and I'm glad that I'm, making a contribution. And I think it's working out just fine. But in regards to people reacting and stuff and not being able to, it's just on them more than anything. It's just that with me, I'm just proud of the fact that I'm able to, put it on paper first and then be able to speak it at the same time and just expand on how I feel about the song, because it's not everyone that has that. You can know how to make a song, but you can't really explain how the song makes you feel. And I just have that gift, if you understand. So,
have you gotten in trouble for any of your reviews?
Trouble? Nah, I think
where maybe like an artist hit you up and say, or even praises, like where an artist hit you up, like, hey, thanks for the, I don't know.
Yeah, praises for sure. I think I've gotten more praises than hate, but from the artist, but yeah, there's been like a few who have, put me under the bus, for saying some shit about them, but it's expected more than anything, I don't feel some type of way about it, it's just that I don't really disrespect the artist, if anything. I just disrespect the art if it needs to be disrespected, because you're also disrespecting us as the consumer, So it's like, if you give us a service and I'm not really proud of the service, I actually have the right to say, bro, like that TV you sent me wasn't as great. So I think it's like that with the music. As long as you are professional in what you're saying, then it's a bit better for the artist to understand what you're saying. Unlike when you are actually bashing them and swearing at them, and so I try my best to deliver my opinion in the most respectable way. So if you feel some type of way, it's fine. But if you're gonna come at me and swear at my mother, which some artists has, but it's like,
really?
Yeah,
Do you wanna? I'm just joking. You wanna mention them? I'm just playing.
I think if I mention them, then it's a different story because
it's personal.
It's not really. Now it's personal. And it's not really worth it. But I don't really look at it in a personal manner. I'm not really touched, but I enjoy. Now every now and then shitting on the guy because it's like, nigga, you brought my mother up, and I was not really shitting.
It wasn't necessary,
So it's like that. Even when we were growing up, if we're arguing, I fell more. Don't mention my mom. Don't mention my dad.
You're losing when you start mentioning family. Hey guys, I hope you're still enjoying the episode. If you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, and do all the good YouTube stuff. But without wasting any time, let's get back to the video.
I don't think I've gotten into trouble because I've said some shit about a lot of artists. I've said some shit about youngster CPT, but he didn't react. If you saw it, he didn't react in type of way. I think he's one of those artists who actually understand that I'm in the business of making music, and people are gonna have opinions about it, and it's fine. But that's only if it saw it. If it didn't, then it's also fine. But the day he sees it and he reacts, I'll probably, accept. But what I said on that review was just, I didn't like what he did with the AKA tribute. I think that tribute was just.
Well, I haven't watched that one. I gotta go back and watch.
I listened to the thing, but I felt some type of way. I felt like it was not really necessary for him to do it, especially at that time, because I felt like
it's too soon.
It's too soon, even for him. Because looking at what he did for Ricky Rick, it was totally amazing. It was really amazing because he actually was.
Do you feel like, sorry to stop you there, but do you feel like the AKA tributes versus the Ricky Rick tributes were, like, I feel like the Ricky Rick one was held to high regard, and the AKA one was like, was people did it in passing, like, oh no, let's move on. And I feel like the only person that did it quite well,
Stogie.
Is it?
Stogie.
Is it?
Stogie.
Is it? No, not Casper.
But with the Casper one, it was like really expected, even though it was met with like
Not really.
criticism.
It wasn't. I feel like he could have just kept it to what he said on that podcast that he was on and moved on.
No,
but he made it a whole song.
I think it was
an album, not even it's not like a loose track. It's like a song on an album.
I think it was expected because this is a man who, I even mentioned it on the review. This is a man who was pushed by AKA.
Yeah.
So at some point he needed to say something. And on the human level, I doubt he was going to say some shit about the man who's no longer here. It was different if I'm saying...
But Burna Boy did.
Yeah, but Burna Boy did. But,
Burna Boy did, so you can't say...
But in comparison to like the two beefs, Casper was actually knee deep into that beef with AKA. Burna was just maybe over petty stuff. It just needed a conversation. Even with Burna, I don't think that was necessary, but I don't think it was that deep as well, in regards to their beef, if you understand. It was not really deep because, I'm pro-black, but I'm South African first. If you're gonna, let's take it there, I'm gonna be for people
in South Africa,
Mandela, so it was really not that deep. But with the Casper one, it was really expected, and I don't think he did it the best. His tribute was the best, but I think Stogie for me was like...
I haven't heard the Stogie one. I think maybe I should.
Stogie one for me was just like, really touchy, and it came at the right time, I think now that we are kind of accepting that Mega is no longer here, it makes it easier for like the tributes to like land, because this is like probably the biggest loss since the likes of Lucky Dube, Brenda Fassie. This was like superstar, and it was still.
I feel like it's not treated like that. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like when Ricky died, everyone changed their profile pictures to Ricky. And AK did. It was like, oh, here's a picture I took with him. I'm sorry they shot you, my guy. Then bye. That's how I feel.
I think
because I'm a huge fan of AK. Like I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
So I think with the AK and the Ricky, totally different, right? Like in terms of the impact, right? Ricky had a direct impact on the culture, right? But Mega had an impact on the culture as well, but not at the same level as Ricky, at least, right? It's just that the Mega one was even way more broader and bigger, right? It touched a lot of people's lives because we can't say Ricky was on the same level as AKA, at least musically.
Yeah.
Because with the Mega, it was like, this guy will touch you with the music. I think people are still trying to, find their feet or just understand what has happened to the Mega. Because even if I play Fela and Versace right now, you're probably going to rock as if it's still here. Understand? If I play Giga, The World Is Yours, you're still going to rock as if it's still here. So
I'm going to ask you something a little bit controversial.
Yeah.
It's fine. If you don't like it, I'll take this part out. But do you also feel like it's because he's colored?
What do you mean?
That people aren't, treating him or...
Nah. Like, I don't think Mega is not being celebrated, if anything. I don't think so.
I just don't feel that atmosphere. Eh? I don't. I feel like it happened. People cried. They accepted it. There were months in and months out of hashtags. And then, bye-bye.
I don't think people have accepted. Like, they are still trying to get there. Even me.
I feel like it's people who are fans of him. But it's not the majority. It's not like the whole... Yeah. It's not like the whole industry.
Think about it this way. This guy left. And he just left us, right? It's not like he left us. He was forced to leave us.
He was,
was just killed brutally, unfortunately. But I think the thing that's still around was the album, or is the album, right? So when the album came, it came at the height of everything, which was still fire. right? But we are still on the album time. It's like he's still there. It's just that, oh snap. After Company is over, you then realize that, oh, I'll never get to see the man perform. After Amapiano is done, it's like, oh damn, I'll never see this man.
Follow-up question. Do you feel like the album would have been well received if he was still alive? Because the previous album,
I think would have moved.
Really?
Yeah, I think would have moved. Like, I think this is arguably one of his best albums. Like it's up there with Touch My Blood.
Okay. I thought you said it's the best. I was gonna argue with you on that one, but
I said it on Twitter the other day. I was like, the thing with AK's music is that it has this thing of, it just grows on you. Like there's just something about it. Like he just knows how to make music that's gonna last.
He's good. Yeah,
he's really
good.
So it's like the hate is really expected, because when Touch My Blood dropped, people were hating. 2020, 2021, 2023, people are like, yo, this guy was actually, in his feelings on that album. He was really talking. So I think with Mass Country, it's probably going to be the same thing, because I like the album. My favorite song out there is Crown. So Company is like a hit. So yeah, it's just that the man is gone, but we are still getting there. It's just that it's so hard to get there because the music was so good. And it's like, even the character that he was, it's like, yeah, that guy was a villain when he needed to. But on a genuine human level, what I've heard is top.
He was a good person.
Top guy. Yeah. So it was just like WWE type thing. John Cena has like a villain today, but in person, it's like a totally different person. He's at the job, you understand? So I don't think he's not celebrated because he was colored or anything. Nah. He was one of us, if anything. We as the Black South Africans considered AK as our child, because he was also pro-Black at the same time. He was not really, he was patriotic, if anything.
Yeah.
He didn't choose, he was himself, So yeah, I don't think that people are not celebrating him enough. It's just that maybe the fans are just,
we're pissed.
We're pissed. So it's like you're angry at everyone.
Yeah,
why aren't you bumping AK? It's like, yes, we love the man, but I can bump Tyson Saber-Taylor, I can bump whoever, I don't think he's not being celebrated enough. It's just that maybe
I feel like music should have been cancelled for the whole year this year, so we listen to AK only.
Nah.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Yeah, just the whole year was just cancelled.
I don't think
no more Amapiano, no more hip hop. Everyone must just drop next year.
I don't think he'd want that too, because if you think about it, the song Company has an Amapiano version. It's like, and it was probably not based off the fact that he's gone, but based off the fact that the song is so good. Because Company has an Amapiano version. I think it was done by an artist called Banjos. He's actually emerging in that space. It's really good, and I don't think Mega is not being celebrated enough, if anything. We miss the Mega. We love the Mega. We'll always love the Mega. And we thank him for the music. So it's just that, and this is why I understand the criticism behind the Casper, because it's like, yeah, he's riding on his dick, but it's like, obviously they were usually like pegged next to each other. Like they were pegged with each other. Like Casper, AK. If you gotta mention AK on your list, Casper has to be, even if it's number 5.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, but rest in peace to the Mega more than anything. Yeah, tragic loss to the game. I think you can still you can see the void even right now. Everyone misses that guy. So even Casper, so yeah, I don't think he wanted him to go out that way, if anything. So yeah.
Okay, I wanna just go back to the reacting, right? Reaction and the reviews. And Mansa Mayne, right?
Yeah.
Guy came out of nowhere. He made a lot of videos, I think, prior, but reaction. I think he was reacting to, and then he jumped into the South African, and I think that's how he blew up, right? Why do you think people actually like cherish him as Because now I would think even people kind of consider him as like one of us. He's American, but like he's like one of us now.
Yeah, I think if you're that good at something, then
Do you think it's because he's good at it, or because he's American reacting to, because I mean, there's people who are South African right now who are doing what he's doing because they saw like, oh, okay, this actually is pop. Reacting and not reviewing, right? But they're not at that Mansa Mayne level.
Yeah, I think with that, it's like that's the difference actually. That's the difference. It hits different now that an American is watching us, watching what the South Africans are doing. So the gravitation is probably always going to be different because it's like an international looking at this space and commenting on this space. You know, even though maybe some of these takes are not really in tune with what we think or believe, it's like, oh, okay, Americans are at least watching us. So they probably, if he's American, there's probably more Americans, you know, watching him, even if the vast majority of his subscribers or fans are South African. But I think it's a great thing that there's people like him watching the space, you know. So I think more than anything, I don't really feel some type of way about that because it helps the game grow, you know? Yeah. So I don't think, yes, maybe it's unfair to those who are not getting the necessary likes, but are you really doing it for the likes or because you love the music? So that's where it gets tricky. So,
I mean, we do it for both. We have to be realistic, right?
yeah, I think if you're really authentic and real, then you know that it's always going to come. It's always going to eventually, because, you know, it just takes one video to pop. That's all it takes. The rest is just going to come. Even with Mansa Mayne. Hey, I'm thinking about money. Yeah, but even with him, he probably started somewhere and then he saw the gap in the market. Because it's not him. There was also that guy, man. I forgot his name.
But he was the first one, though.
It was not him. There was this guy, man. I think he used to comment a lot in the 80s.
Is it those
he used to comment a lot in the 80s.
Isn't the British guys?
Yeah, it was from the UK. It's dark. No, not dark. It was like dark skin.
Not the group. There was like this group. I think
not the group. There was also one guy, man. I forgot his name, but I hated his takes. Oh. So then this is why, like, I hated a lot of his takes because I felt like they were like uninformed, if you understand.
Yeah.
He's not really within this space, but he's talking about things that don't really concern him or things that he doesn't really have the knowledge of, you know, as much as we do, if you understand. So it's like, if you're going to comment on AKA, it's probably because you've had a conversation with your fellow, you know, peers, and you now have a different perspective on the situation. But with him, it's probably like what he saw on the tabloids, and he just decided to react on that. So I just hated his takes on some of the things that he used to say. But yeah, even with him, I think he was the first guy, actually. I forgot his name, actually. But yeah, probably one of the first guys. It's just that Mansa Mayne is like that guy in terms of reacting, or was that guy. Because I think now he's doing Amapiano. So yeah. But he's one of us, if anything.
Yeah, no, he is. Actually, talking about, you know, being in a space and things shifting, and you saying that guy is in the Amapiano now. Amapiano now is taking over for the most part, South Africa, and even some parts of the world. It's like very international. It's like the one of the genres that actually managed to push.
Yeah.
You know, do you feel like hip hop, SA hip hop to be specific, is dead, or is just dying? We're just kicking a.
You know, this is a really tough chat, like really, really tough, because it's not tough, but it's like really tough because what do we mean SA hip hop is dead?
It's not as big as it used to be. You don't go to a club like back then. I'd go to like a club or a gathering or whatever, and you know, MT would be, you know, would be song after song that's hip hop, and house or whatever genre that would be played there. There was like a, how can I say it? There was like a balance.
Yeah.
Right? There was like some level of balance. Like there was the hip hop heads and there were like the house heads and like in between. But now it's like, we play hip hop, you go to a club, if you go early, that those guys will play hip hop, but it's empty. It's like during the time when no one's there. But as soon as people start pulling through, hey, my guy, you must pack up some, you know.
So there's this thing that's always been inside of me, right, in regards to this conversation. And fortunately, Tyson Zabertelli actually referenced it, in one of his songs on the Present project. So he said, I don't know, I think I'm gonna misquote him, but it's fine. He said something about SA hip hop being dead, but he's never seen the grave. Understand? I don't know if you understand what he means.
Yeah,
So, like-
but I feel like that's it. Like it's like it's like a dog that's crawling into his
So
grave.
here's
It's
the
almost
thing.
dead.
Here's the thing. I think with SA hip hop, it's really, sad that,
Yeah.
it's said to be dead, even though it's not. It's not dead. The culture is still alive and kicking. If it was dead, then I don't think I'd be here, if you understand. So I'm here because of SA hip hop, for sure. But in terms of maybe the commercial viability, it's no longer there as such as it was maybe previously. But in terms of the genre being dead, I don't think it's dead because
dead is like an over exaggeration, right? Like it's kind of like someone saying that jazz is dead. It's not dead. It's been
it's
been
still
made for
there.
years and years, but it's no longer. It's not like no longer your to go to genre. Like if you're sitting with people, you're not plugging. No offense, you're not plugging necessary to jam to people. I give you the aux cable. I'm not expecting you to play necessary.
I think for me, hip hop is not dead, and the Never Right joint actually showed that hip hop is not dead. Yes, hip hop is not as,
but it's like
listen, yes, hip hop is not as big as it was maybe between 2014 to 2019, 18, which is fine, right? But that was also expected because a new genre is coming in, right? And you need to remember that Amapiano came into the game when, we were also in a mess, COVID times, or maybe gained prominence in COVID.
But sorry to stop you there with what you said about a new genre coming in. Before Amapiano, there was Gqom, right? It came in and didn't actually do anything, and it did like it was. But it was still, again, with the whole thing that I said, there was still balance. Like, if you want to play that. If you want to, but when Amapiano came, they wiped all these guys under the rug,
With the Gqom situation, the hip hop lads were still at the top, right? Or going head to head at least.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening right now. It's like, I think it's a fight for attention, if anything, because the culture is still alive. It's just that maybe the backing is not the same. And it's sad for SA hip hop gens because they are trying every single day. But I don't think it's that. We need to actually cherish Amapiano. We need to love the genre because it's really important.
Yeah.
So in terms of SA hip hop being dead, I don't think it's dead. It's just that maybe it's a time of recession. It's a time of recession and a time of depression, which is fine. But there's gonna be that time where it peaks again. And then it's expected, like everything goes up and comes down. And but think about it. SA hip hop has been around for over 40 years, at least in South Africa, and 50 years
40?
Across.
Wait, what do you mean 40 years?
Yeah, SA hip hop is 40 years, 40 years old. Yeah, SA hip hop is 40 years old, and hip hop in America is like 50 years old. So I understand.
You mean like us making hip hop, or it being people listening to it?
SA hip hop in South Africa is 40 years old.
How?
What do you mean how?
I'm asking you. How?
Like you would need to like research the pioneers of the culture. There's actually
you don't mean like KWAITO, right? Like
nah.
KWAITO and all of
hip hop, because I think I might be wrong, but if my knowledge serves me right, hip hop
sounds like a lot of years.
Hip hop started back in Cape Town, and remember back then hip hop was a lot of things. It was still graffiti, the ciphers, basically the real hip hop. Before it just became the music. Because
okay. All right. Okay.
Now it's just the music, but before that it was just like a lot of things, dance groups, the graffiti, the music. And a lot of things. So hip hop in South Africa is 40 years, and obviously in across the world, hip hop in America is like 50 years old. And that's what the guys at Back to the City are celebrating. SA hip hop being 40, and
Didn't know that.
we're just really glad that we still have the likes of DJ Ready D, who are at the helm, with the scratches and stuff. Because that's where hip hop actually started, It's just that now the scratches are not as desirable, but we thank people like him and a lot of groups, man. I think POC, one of the first groups in SA hip hop, because they're like, I think the name is Pioneers of the Culture or something. But yeah, POC, one of the first groups in SA hip hop, and a lot more. You have Squatter Camp, Tear Gas, and So I think SA hip hop is 40 years, and you understand. And even with that, when they first came up, it was probably like, ish, we're not gonna get there. And then the likes of AKA, Casper, Questa, KO, those guys just, took it to the peak, right? And yeah, obviously it's still there, but the fact that the guys like AKA and KO and the Caspers were still able, despite Casper leaving us for a while, but for the fact that even when it was still dead, they came back to the fold and just actually showed the people that, we are, still there. Even though it can be argued that, Lemon's Lemonade is not a hip hop joint, Say There is not a hip hop joint, but it's just that the guys who are actually known for hip hop are still pushing the culture and most importantly, representing SA hip hop, because KO and AK dropped hip hop albums. And we can't also deny the fact that Never Right actually laid the foundation for the guys to be back on the spotlight, because that Matlera Dopoy verse, fire, So I think hip hop is not dead. As long as there's still SA Hip Hop Awards, it's not really dead. It's just that maybe it's bubbling under, because if you think about it, with Amapiano, they knew that at some point it's gonna peak, just like right now, because Amapiano started way back. I'm not really sure about where it started, because that debate is still happening right now.
Yeah.
But
the whole Bacardi and
it's like with okay, I'm just gonna talk about what I know. I know that with MFR Souls, those guys.
Yeah.
MFR Souls.
Yeah, I know.
So those guys are said to be the guys who started Amapiano, right? And even with them, and then came the Gabzas, the DJ Jaivani, the Mtuda, the other guys, DJ Stokey, all those guys. But it said that they were the first guys to, because I first came across Amapiano, I think it was in 2017.
2017.
Yeah, 2017. And at the time.
Which song?
Yeah.
Which song?
I used to get like locked tunes, from my friends. We used to play like locked tunes. And at the time, the likes of Kabza had like, when you get songs that are saved in a weird way, like it's hashtag, or it's just insert, just weird names, And when you actually tap in, it's like, and there was also mixtapes happening at the time. It's like Kabza had the mixes going on, MFR Souls had. So the genre has been bubbling under. It's just that right now, the work has just come into fruition, and I think that's the great part. That's the proper explanation of SA hip hop is there, like Amapiano was bubbling under, and the same way hip hop was bubbling under at some point with the KWAITO.
I'm actually laughing right now looking at you speak, because before we started this, you were very nervous, and now you're just flowing.
Nah, it's like the music. It's the music.
You're in your zone. I could just sit here and just watch you speak.
Nah, it's the music. I love the music more than
I can tell. I
like,
can tell. Like you have so much passion.
I'm tapped in, like with the hip hop, the Amapiano, the house, the KWAITO, like every single thing related to the music. I won't say I know it, but I'm probably tapped in. So.
Would you say that hip hop was bound to die though? Because I feel like South Africa was never really a hip hop country.
Yeah, it's not. For the fact that hip hop was able to come dominate, for the fact that the skris were able to come in and dominate, the niggas were able to, make everyone wear dashikis, make everyone have baggy pants at some point, make everyone be or feel proud of the fact that they can speak English, the twang, the way that people just carry themselves when they speak English was just probably because of hip hop. Hip hop just comes with a lot of pride, and I'm glad that SA hip hop was able to help a lot of kids, recognize that, because we all grew up on American stuff, but the minute we realized that there's something for us here, then niggas became comfortable. Then niggas saw Guti, we can also do this thing and, run with it. And that's what's happening right now. So I don't think hip hop is dead in South Africa. It's not dead. It will not die, because even in the States, they're also struggling, because at some point, okay, Drake was expected, but Drake had the first #1 in a few months. That's Drake, that's his standard procedure, right? But even in America, they're struggling because the dance is just taking over, so Amapiano is just dominating the world right now, and it's just not in SA. So if you're gonna say SA hip hop is dead, just say hip hop is dead. Rather say hip hop is dead, because even in the States, niggas are not really buying it. So so just be careful. I don't think hip hop is dead. I don't think SA hip hop is dead. It's just going through a tough time, and they will recover. But maybe not at the expense of Amapiano. Maybe they'll reach a point where they coexist, because I think it's getting there now that you have artists from the hip hop side just adding elements of Amapiano in their tunes, and obviously guys from because a lot of the guys doing Amapiano were hip hop guys. They just it's like failed hip hop rappers, if you understand. So now that they have a space to shine, let's let them shine. We can't really have the attention the whole time. I'm hip hop till I die, but I'm South African till I die. So whatever's happening in my country, I need to show pride in it and preserve it and make sure that it reaches its full potential more than anything. So I don't think it matters, because then it's gonna lead to the conversation of hip hop is not ours,
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah. No. I don't want to make this episode longer than it needs to be.
yeah,
I just want to tap into something that we kind of spoke of earlier before, when I was still setting up. Was that I believe that you're not. Like I said, I see you becoming like the SA Fantano, right? And the one thing that made Fantano who he is today, right, was his controversial, maybe too honest opinions that made people angry. Some, rarely behind him. And watching your reviews, especially, I watched the Nessie one and the Casper one. I think, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday?
Yeah.
And I mentioned that you didn't talk about the Benny Butcher verse, right? Which I thought it was atrocious. I didn't like that verse. I felt like he just did that verse just to get his money and leave, right? It wasn't great, because I listened to Benny the Butcher. I'm like, there's no way this is him. I honestly didn't. I had to look at the feature list. I didn't believe it was him. And I feel like you are, to some extent, you hold back in saying certain things. And why is that? Why?
I don't think I'm holding back on anything, if anything, because I think I'm just honest, because I don't think it was necessary for me to talk about the Benny the Butcher verse, because
but it's like a highlight on the album.
Not for me, at least.
But for most people, they see because that's like I don't know if there's any other, because I didn't finish the album.
Yeah.
Is there any other prominent international name besides?
But that's the thing. That's the thing with us as South Africans. We enjoy twerking for internationals, and it's like, how? Yes, it's there, but there's Maglera there. There's 25K there, and they had great contributions, and that's something for us to embrace, because that's something
you kind of lost me there for a minute, but
that's something we can talk about, because I don't think, okay, yes, you guys expected Johnny P's caddy, a rap.
Not even Johnny P's caddy level, like something good.
A rap.
It sounded like even it sounded like I wrote that.
But think about it. Think about it this way. I don't think Nasty C was on that time. in the making of the project, because the project makes a lot of sense. Like the sonics, most importantly, I just
It
you
doesn't.
know,
I feel like maybe you're not understanding me. I'm not saying it needed to be deep or it needed to be like.
So what was
street
wrong
or
with the verse? What was wrong with the verse?
horrible writing?
Okay, why?
Even how it ends, like nigga, we made it. Like
Prosper
come
in
on,
peace.
man. Come on,
Prosper in
come
peace.
on. Like
So
the one thing that I enjoy Benny Butcher for is how he talks about his struggles, like how he came up from a very rough neighborhood.
So he didn't do that in the
He
verse.
sold coke, and you know how he eventually got to where he is right now, and teaching people how to, you know, don't let the fame. And I feel like the song "Postman and Peace" was the perfect platform for him to be talking about that. And he did maybe talk about it, but the verse is weak.
Okay, then
it just feels like you know, I was doing it as a favor, and I just want to leave.
Okay, Pela, you need to look at it this way, right?
Yeah.
If we're gonna cater for the Griselda being, right, it means that we probably need to remove the drums. We need to stop the beat so he can rap the way, or switch the beat so that he can rap the way.
Yeah.
Was that gonna work for the song? I don't think so. I don't think so.
I mean, okay, maybe not, but
exactly. So,
but I mean, these days we do a lot of 2-part songs,
and also,
a lot.
I spoke about the time Nasty C is on.
Yeah,
he's speaking about a lot of real things, but the packaging of it is totally different. You know, like it's really introspective stuff, but it's still in a fun.
Then take him off.
What do you mean?
Take him off the verse.
That was also
unnecessary.
Okay, let me paint you this scenario, right? That was basically AKA putting Nasty C on a song that he's not really familiar with, right?
Like what?
Lemons Lemon, right?
No.
So listen, with the Prosper in Peace.
I that wasn't a very foreign song to me.
To Nasty C?
No.
It definitely was.
It was not.
It definitely was. Because that bag was totally different. But just to stay on the Benny the Butcher note, it was probably him being tested. And I don't think he failed the test. I accept the song for what it is. Yes, the contribution was not as great, but it's not something I needed to talk about.
If we're still back in those writing CDs days, I would have taken out that first.
Yeah, I mean,
personally, I don't want to hear that first.
That's fine, because
ruins the song for me.
Because okay, I understand why you're saying what you say, because I also felt some type of way when Matlera came on the 018. You know, it's like, yeah, I didn't feel like his contribution was fine, but that's the thing. There are things that you
it's
view.
Different. It's different because what I'm saying is Benny is an international. It's one of those features that everyone was looking at it like, I want to.
I am not gonna twerk for the internationals, unfortunately. Like, I am not going to. If it was Drake,
why do you say it like that?
Like, if it was Drake on the song, I was probably not going to talk about him as well. You know, if the contribution was really horrible, yes,
you would have just left it out.
I was not gonna say it's good if it's not good, but it was not worthy for me to talk about, because if I talk about it, then it makes the review even longer, if you understand. Because then it's like, yo, I expected, because I did not expect Benny the Butcher to
be on the album,
not be on the album, but to give me a
outstanding verse.
Iambic pentameter. I didn't expect him to give me layers. Yeah, I just expected him to be on the same wavelength as Nasty C. And as stablemates, I think they did pretty well. So yeah, I don't think I hold back. I fire when I need to fire. But if there's nothing for me to fire about, then, you know, because there's people who expected me to fire at Matlera when he did that song with Nasty C, and I felt like, hey, boy was really great, you know, because he has different bags, you know, and you may not like it, but, you know,
someone else might.
Looking at it or listening to it, I was like, yo, Clara, that's why I also mentioned that it sounded like an extension of what he was doing on Diaspora, you know, because that project was also met with a lot of criticism. So
yeah.
Okay.
Just to finish off the podcast, what can we expect from you? What are your plans?
You see, I think for me, This feels like a really deep question, but I think for me, there's no plans really. It's just to expand Post in the Diary Room and grow within the game and just push the culture as much as possible. And I think there's going to be more exciting stuff from me. It's just that I need to, incorporate them the right way instead of rushing the process, because it's a long game. I might be here for like the next 15 years, but I know that I'm not going to be in one place for 15 years. So Post in the Diary Room is going to grow. It's growing every single day. I appreciate the views. I appreciate the likes. And everyone, please go subscribe. Post in the Diary Room, please kindly like, share, subscribe, comment.
Yeah, no, I'll share your details.
Do whatever is necessary to engage with the content. And I think there's not much, probably maybe I'm not going to expand into a podcast, but we'll see. But I don't see myself, this is why I was really nervous doing this. So I don't really see myself expanding into the podcast. Maybe doing maybe some more commentary, at least on the platform, because now it's just reviews, but I'd probably need to start a new channel for that so I don't confuse the audience. So, but we'll see, man. This is a long game. It's a long process. I'm not in it for the likes, the subscribers. I'm just pushing the culture. I'm just driving the culture because it's what we love and it's made us, and we just need to make sure that it grows, So, yeah.
All right, just some words of encouragement from my side. I'll say you must stop
holding back.
And I feel like you don't believe in yourself to some extent.
Yeah.
And you have a very dope product. Like it's a dope product. You just need to keep pushing and taking risks as well.
Before you finish off, right? Yeah. I don't really understand the holding back chat, because still really when you drop the project, I'm not sure if you tapped into that project or that review, but I was actually, not impressed. And I was not really impressed with. There's like a lot of projects I was not really impressed with.
No, not it's holding just back in regards to like the reviews.
Yeah.
Just you.
Oh, like why? Okay,
yourself.
Just
yourself.
Yeah. But I get you when you say it's like I don't believe in myself.
Yeah, like you do. I feel like you have some level of self-doubt to some extent. Yeah, we all do, but I just feel like you have to sometimes put on that postman mask and be postman. And you can be whoever you are in your own time. Yeah. But
Now, man, shout out to you for bringing me over.
Thanks for coming, man.
Appreciate what you're doing out here, and I wish you all the best, success, growth, and stay tuned for part 2 in the next few years. So,
we're gonna have a part 2. There was a lot of things we actually didn't cover, but so, I'm definitely gonna have you for another episode. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Tribe Leader Don Riz out.
It's moving. Was it dope?